In Daechi-dong, Gangnam, there is an apartment built in 1979. No elevator. The facade has faded with the years. Through corridor windows, the smell of an old city seeps in. Yunma Apartments. Its 2024 transaction price exceeded 3.4 billion won. In a city where new developments rise without pause, a 40-year-old brick building keeps setting record prices. It is not the brick that costs 3.4 billion. It is the zip code. The price is the act of belonging to that address. People call this an investment in education. Mencius's mother moved 3 times. Good environment, they say, makes good children. But when you test that belief against data, an entirely different story emerges. Upper East Side, Manhattan, New York. Same block. Similar building age, similar size. 2 apartments. One sits inside the PS6 elementary school district. The other is just across the line. The price difference? 20 to 25%. One road between them. 1/5 of the home's value. Gone. This invisible line is the moat that divides class. Mencius's mother moved 3 times. Not to find a good school, but to choose the right crowd for her child. Parents today do the same. They explain the school district premium with 3 reasons. Different teachers, better facilities, better atmosphere. 3 explanations, 3 misconceptions layered inside one another. Nobody lied. Everyone simply believed it for too long. First misconception, different teachers. In Korea, public school teachers are standardized at the national level. Credentials, salary, rotation criteria. The same holds in the United States and the United Kingdom. Within the same region, wage gaps between public school teachers are negligible. Teachers do not follow school districts. Second misconception, better facilities. According to OECD PISA data, the gap in school facilities explains only 5 to 10% of the variance in student performance. The remaining 90% comes from somewhere else. Third misconception, investing in education. What parents are actually buying is not an educational service. Then how powerful is the peer effect? The belief that good neighbors make good children. The belief supposedly justifying a premium worth billions. Let's go into the numbers. In 2001, economist Bruce Sacerdote of Dartmouth University randomly assigned 1,589 incoming freshmen to dormitory rooms. Selection bias. Eliminated. The question, would a student's grades actually rise when placed next to a high-achieving roommate? The result? Even when a roommate ranked in the top 25%, the most elite, the student's own GPA rose by 0.06 points. In a 4.0 system, 2 decimal places. People buy a 3.4 billion won zip code for this 2 decimal place illusion. If even a roommate sharing the same room, one of the top students, produces an effect this small, it is difficult to explain a multi-billion premium through the mere fact of living in the same neighborhood. Joshua Angrist, Nobel laureate in economics at MIT, proved that existing research had overestimated the peer effect by more than twice, an artifact of statistical methodology. High-achieving students in high-achieving environments do not raise one another's performance. They were simply always there together to begin with. Then what actually changes grades? Stanford economist Eric Hanushek spent 30 years on this question. One answer: the teacher. A single teacher, 1 standard deviation above average, teaching a class of 20 for 1 year, increases each student's projected lifetime income by $400,000 per year. In Korean won, 550 million. Compared on the same scale as peer effects, 3 to 4 times more powerful. But in Korea, you cannot choose a good teacher in a public school. Teachers are assigned by national rotation, so parents go outside the school. It looks like buying a school district. What they are actually buying is the right to access a market that fills what the school cannot. Past 10 p.m. in a Daechi-dong alley, children clutch workbooks, waiting for the Hagwon bus. What parents are buying is not a house. It is the radius where this hour becomes routine. 16 of the top 20 apartment complexes in Daechi-dong are within 5 minutes walk of the Hagwon district. Ramian Daechi Palace, Daechi SK View, Gaepo Wusong. These apartments are not expensive because cement is expensive. They are expensive because of proximity to the best instructors. The school district premium is not the price of educational quality. It is the price of a curated environment and a class signal. The zip code becomes a signal. A Daechi-dong zip code tells you what jobs the parents of children inside it hold. Lawyers, doctors, executives. Choosing the desk next to your child is the real purpose of buying into a school district, not tuition. A class admission ticket. Korea's total private education spending in 2024 exceeded 29 trillion won. This is not unique to Korea. In the United States, public school budgets come from local property taxes. High home prices mean rich schools. Low home prices mean weak schools. The system creates school districts. School districts raise home prices. Higher home prices expand school budgets. Nobody designed this. The tax code accidentally built a caste. Harvard's Raj Chetty analyzed the administrative data of 20 million people. The earlier a low-income child moves to a better neighborhood, the more their lifetime earnings rise, by an average of $200,000. In London, the mere proximity to a top public school adds an average of £70,000 to the asking price. New York's boundary line is drawn in London too, and in Seoul. Not a wall, a boundary. The invisible school district line traces the outline of caste across a map. Within this caste, class does not officially exist. 6 digits of a zip code perform that function instead. The boundary moves only in one direction, toward self-reinforcement. Hagwon moves in, home prices rise. High earners stay. Private education demand explodes. Better Hagwon moves in. This loop accelerates without external intervention, continuously raising the barrier to entry. Individual rational choices collectively become a class moat. One country broke this structure: Finland. In the 2022 OECD PISA assessment, the variance in academic performance across Finnish schools was 9 to 12%. The OECD average, 32%. Whichever school you are assigned to, zip code has statistically negligible effect on your grades. The caste boundary does not function. Finland did not eliminate desire. It changed the switches so that zip codes could no longer become competitive advantage. 3 switches. First, unified national education funding. Sever the link between local tax revenue and school budgets. No matter which district you live in, school funding does not change. Second, reverse resource allocation. The weaker the school, the more national resources flow to it. The greater the deficit, the larger the poor. In schools in vulnerable areas on Helsinki's outskirts, minority students who received targeted financial support saw dropout rates fall by more than 20% in a short period. Third, teacher rotation and credential standardization. Adjust placement criteria so that good teachers do not become the exclusive property of particular school districts. These 3 are not willpower or mindset. They are institutional switches. Finnish parents do not move for school districts, not because they lack ambition, but because they trust the institution. Wherever you live, the state will fill the school. Zip code does not determine your child's future. The structure in which individual rationality becomes a social trap has not been built. Mencius's mother moved 3 times. That was not the wrong choice. It was the best she could do within the given structure. The zip code caste was not designed by anyone. It was built from the accumulation of individually rational choices. And that caste can be dismantled with institutional switches, not desire. A question of design. So the 3.4 billion was not the price of brick. Not because life inside the aging building is special, but because that address distributes the future by pushing other addresses out. What we bought was not education. It was a zip code that could exclude someone else. Unless the question changes, the structure does not change.